In Greek mythology, there are many demigods, possibly over 50. But do you know who among them is the most famous? Greek mythology is filled with countless stories of demigods, those who carry the blood of gods, but live and struggle in the human world. They are symbols of strength, courage, and resilience in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Perhaps many of us have heard of the legendary Hercules, a son of Zeus and a mortal woman. Hercules is widely known in popular culture, but do you know of any other demigods besides Hercules? How were they born? What challenges did they face? What were their fates? And why are these demigods so famous? Join me as we explore the top 5 most famous demigods in Greek mythology. Top 5 demigods. Orpheus. Orpheus was the son of the god Apollo and the muse Calliope, and from birth, he was gifted with exceptional musical talent. His music could not only move the hearts of humans, but also enchant nature and even the gods themselves. The greatest challenge in Orpheus' life came when his wife, Eurydice, died from a snakebite. Overcome with grief, Orpheus ventured into the underworld to beg Hades and Persephone to allow Eurydice to return to the world of the living. With his divine lyre playing, Orpheus softened the hearts of the rulers of the underworld. Hades agreed to let Eurydice return, but with one condition: Orpheus was not allowed to look back at her until they both had fully exited the underworld. However, Orpheus could not resist and turned to look at his wife before they had completely left, causing Eurydice to be forever trapped in the realm of the dead. Afterward, Orpheus lived in solitude and heartbreak over the loss of Eurydice. He was eventually killed by the Manoids, a group of female followers of Dionysus, after he refused to love any woman other than Eurydice. Orpheus is a symbol of eternal love and the power of music. His journey to the underworld to rescue his wife is one of the most poignant love stories in Greek mythology. Orpheus has been featured in many adaptations, including the animated film The Adventures of Prince Ahmed 1926, one of the first animated films to depict mythological tales. His love story with Eurydice has also been adapted into plays and films, such as Orfeu Negro 1959, a modern retelling set in Brazil. Famous quote: "Don't look back," the warning Orpheus received from Hades when he attempted to bring Eurydice out of the underworld. This phrase has become a widely recognized message, symbolizing patience and trust, and is often used in art and literature. Orpheus' story has inspired countless artists and composers, from classical music to modern songs. He is known as a symbol of the power of art, with the ability to move the world through his music. Top 4 demigods. Theseus. Theseus was the son of the sea god Poseidon and Queen Aethra, but he was raised as the son of King Aegeus. As a child, Theseus was unaware of his divine heritage until he grew old enough to lift a large stone under which his father had hidden a sword for him. The greatest challenge Theseus faced was defeating the Minotaur, half-man, half-bull monster that lived in a labyrinth beneath Crete. Every year, Athens had to send 7 boys and 7 girls to Crete to be sacrificed to the Minotaur. Driven by courage and a desire to protect his people, Theseus volunteered to join the group of Athenians destined for the labyrinth as sacrifices. The labyrinth was a complex maze from which no one had ever escaped. Before entering, Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos, fell in love with Theseus and decided to help him. She gave him a ball of thread known as Ariadne's thread and instructed him on how to use it to avoid getting lost. Theseus entered the labyrinth with the thread in hand. He tied one end of the thread to the entrance and unraveled it as he ventured deeper into the maze. After finding the Minotaur, Theseus fought bravely and killed the beast with the sword his father had left for him. The Minotaur was defeated, and Theseus became a hero. After slaying the Minotaur, Theseus used the thread to retrace his steps out of the labyrinth. Ariadne's cleverness and his bravery allowed him to successfully complete the mission, kill the Minotaur, and return safely. Theseus' story of battling the Minotaur in the labyrinth remains one of the most captivating myths. It symbolizes both intelligence and courage. Theseus appeared in the film Immortals 2011, which presented a mythological take on his battle alongside the gods. The movie introduced Theseus as an epic hero to younger audiences, The image of Theseus holding Ariadne's thread, guiding him out of the Minotaur's labyrinth, has become a symbol of wisdom and cunning. His journey through the maze has inspired countless adventure stories and puzzle games today. Top 3 demigods. Achilles. Achilles was the son of the sea goddess Thetis and King Peleus, and from birth, it was foretold that he would become one of the greatest warriors. In an effort to make him invincible, Thetis dipped Achilles into the river Styx, which separated the world of the living from the dead. However, she held him by his heel, leaving that as the only vulnerable spot on his otherwise invulnerable body. Achilles was the premier warrior of the Greek forces in the Trojan War. He became famous for slaying many of Troy's greatest champions, but his most significant challenge was facing Hector, the hero of Troy. In their climactic duel, Achilles killed Hector to avenge the death of his closest companion, Patroclus. However, Achilles was also known for his arrogance and emotional vulnerability. After killing Hector, he refused to return the body to Hector's family, showcasing the darker side of his personality. Ultimately, Achilles met his end when an arrow, shot by Perseus, struck him in the heel, his only weak spot. His death has since become one of the most iconic symbols of human fragility. Achilles, with his legendary Achilles heel, became a symbol of both strength and human vulnerability. He is the most famous figure from the Trojan War, and has appeared frequently in art and popular culture. One of the most well-known cinematic portrayals of Achilles is in the film Troy 2004, where Brad Pitt played the role of the great warrior. The movie vividly depicted the Trojan War and Achilles' tragic death, when Paris shot an arrow into his heel, the one spot that made him mortal. You've likely heard the phrase, Achilles' heel. This expression has become a universal term across languages, referring to a person or object's singular point of vulnerability. This makes Achilles' story relatable and understandable to people from all walks of life. Top 2 demigod. Perseus. Perseus was also a demigod, the son of Zeus and Princess Dana. His story began when King Achilles, Dana's father, received a prophecy that his grandson would one day kill him. To prevent this, Achilles imprisoned Dana in a bronze tower, cutting her off from the outside world. However, Zeus was not deterred by the bronze walls. He transformed into a shower of gold and entered the tower, impregnating Dana, and thus Perseus was born. Perseus is one of the greatest heroes in Greek mythology, and his most famous adventure was his quest to slay Medusa, the monstrous gorgon with snakes for hair, whose gaze could turn anyone to stone. King Polydectes, who desired Dana, sent Perseus on the impossible task of killing Medusa, hoping to rid himself of the young hero. But Perseus was not easily defeated. With the help of gods like Athena and Hermes, he was gifted a divine sword and a reflective shield. Perseus used the shield to avoid looking directly at Medusa, and with one precise strike, he beheaded her. After defeating Medusa, Perseus continued his journey and rescued Princess Andromeda from the sea monster Cetus. Perseus eventually lived happily with Andromeda, founding several cities, including Mycenae, one of the most famous cities of ancient Greece. Perseus is most famous for his triumph over Medusa, a story that has been adapted many times in action and mythological films. He represents courage and clever strategy. Perseus appeared in the classic film Clash of the Titans 1981 and its 2010 remake. These films focus on his journey against Medusa and the sea monster Kraken, embedding Perseus' story deep into modern popular culture. The line "Release the Kraken" from Clash of the Titans has become iconic, linking Perseus with his battles against supernatural forces. Though the line doesn't directly relate to Perseus, it emphasizes his role in confronting and defeating the Kraken. The story of Perseus and Medusa is often depicted in art, with the image of Perseus holding Medusa's head becoming a symbol of victory over evil. This scene has inspired countless paintings, sculptures, and remains a powerful symbol in cultural works. Top 1 demigod. Hercules. Unsurprisingly, Hercules in Greek mythology is the most famous demigod, and perhaps the most well-known figure in all of Greek mythology. But why is he so famous? Hercules was the son of Zeus, the king of the gods. and a mortal woman named Alcmene. The story begins with Zeus, known for his numerous affairs with mortals. One night, Zeus disguised himself as Alcmene's husband, leading her to believe he was her true spouse. As a result, Alcmene became pregnant with Hercules. However, Hercules' birth was surrounded by turmoil. Hera, Zeus' wife, was furious and harbored a deep hatred for Hercules even before he was born. In her jealousy, Hera repeatedly sought to destroy him. When Hercules was still an infant, she sent 2 snakes into his crib to kill him. But the baby hero, already possessing incredible strength, strangled both serpents with his bare hands. Hercules became a symbol of immense strength and endurance, but his life was filled with hardship, largely due to Hera's continuous attempts to torment him. As a grown man, he experienced one of the greatest tragedies of his life. Hera drove him mad, causing him to unintentionally kill his own wife and children. Stricken with guilt, Hercules sought redemption and was tasked with completing the famous 12 labors, impossible challenges no ordinary man could accomplish. These labors included defeating the Nemean lion, whose skin was impenetrable, slaying the multi-headed Hydra, and capturing the Cretan bull. Each labor tested both his strength and cunning. After successfully completing all 12 labors, Hercules was forgiven for his sins and redeemed. Hercules' story did not end like that of other mortals. When he died, instead of descending to the underworld, he was brought to Mount Olympus, where he became an immortal god. Hercules' fame stretches far beyond mythology, largely thanks to his portrayal in movies, books, and comics. One of the most iconic representations is Disney's 1997 animated film Hercules, which made the demigod a global sensation, especially among younger audiences. The film depicted his journey to becoming a true hero, while incorporating humor and a lovable personality that made him a popular entertainment icon. Hercules also became a model of strength and resilience in different cultural contexts. TV shows like Hercules, The Legendary Journeys 1995-1999 with Kevin Sorbo, and films like Hercules 2014, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, have solidified Hercules as an indomitable warrior in modern pop culture. One of the most memorable lines from the Disney movie, "I'm Hercules," became a catchphrase, reminding audiences of his legendary status in mythology and entertainment alike. And if you're curious to find out which labor was truly the hardest challenge for Hercules on his epic journey, don't miss my video ranking the difficulty of the 12 labors of Hercules on my channel. Stay tuned.